Hello, I'm Leanne.
I'm Hayley.
And me and Hayley just wanted to bring something to help people in these uncertain times. So me and Hayley help people with transformation of the mind and coaching and things like that. So what we do is we get together and we have an hour a week, half an hour for Hayley, half an hour for me, and we find it really beneficial talking to each other and having a little discover of what's going on for us. So we had an idea that we would put this on a podcast and to see if hearing us talk about certain subjects helps people. What do you think, Hayley?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we had a chat a few weeks ago, and we thought, well, how about if we do our chats on a podcast, because it's, the amount of benefit I've had in my life from these chats we have, and it's literally a chat, but Leanne brings her wisdom in, I bring mine, and it's like we're talking to each other in a different way. It really helps me. So what we wanted to do was to put it on a podcast, and it's going to be so relaxed. Just going to be us chatting. We're going to bring different topics every week or every fortnight, whenever we do it, every month. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a ritual thing. And yes, the different topics such as feeling emotionally responsible for others. That's one big one. Or surrendering.
That was huge. That was huge for me, wasn't it? Being emotionally responsible for others. Hayley really helped me with that.
Did you just stop a sneeze there, Leanne?
Yeah. oh, that's nice for you all. Right, so we're just talking. We just want to keep it real, and really be ourselves and be totally 100% authentic, because that's where it's all at. What it is for me,
yes,
and it is for Hayley. So today's subject, Hayley,
is surrendering. And this was a funny one, wasn't it? Because I said to you in the week, trust that we will be aligned this week with the first topic.
Yeah.
Tell your story, and then I'll...
So Hayley said, right, you go off and you just ask yourself what the first topic's going to be. And in my head, straight away, it was surrender. And it's something I helped you with, wasn't it? The surrendering.
Massively.
Right, yeah. So and it was, and then a couple of days later, me and Hayley had a chat, and then she texted me afterwards and, oh my God, I think we should do the first one on surrendering. And I was like, oh, that's really funny, because that's what was in my head. Yeah. So yes. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what we're just going to, what our own experience of surrendering, what we've, what's helped us, what learned, because actually surrendering could be, some people think, well, what do you mean surrender? How do you surrender? Yeah, how do you surrender? What
with a little stick and a white flag. Woo!
Yeah. Some people think surrender is giving up. No, it's not. It's not. It's sort of actually, giving up the fight.
Yeah,
I see it as giving up the fight. So, for example, okay, so my experience of surrendering this week has been, I've been fighting this emotion of frustration and discontentment. I mean, I want to feel great. I'm going to feel great. I've been feeling great, and I want to continue feeling great. So I was fighting that feeling of frustration, and then I had the moment when I thought, oh, do you know what do I need to feel? I need to feel frustrated. I need to feel fed up. So I surrendered to it, and that feeling is such an amazing feeling when you do. It's scary at first, don't get me wrong, because of control. People like to be in control, of everything, themselves, or mainly themselves. But yeah, so when I surrendered to that, what do I need to feel? I need to be fed up. I allowed myself to feel that fed up feeling, and it didn't last long. Right, so I sat with it. I was like, yeah, no, you know what? I do feel fed up right now. I feel fed up. And that acknowledgement, being real, connecting with me, was such an empowering feeling that within, now I don't like to put time frames, but this is my experience. Within the hour, I felt this lift and I had this energy. So that was my experience of surrendering this week.
Lovely.
Nice.
Bless you.
Yeah.
It is really powerful, because what we do is we resist that emotion. We resist what, so it's like, I'm okay, whatever the words are that you use for yourself. Mine was upset this week. So there was a little bit of a disagreement with me and my 15-year-old, and I was quite hurt, actually, but I was thinking, no, I've got to stay in this. And I was so angry, and I didn't want to be angry, because things can be said in haste, or some hurtful things can come out, or whatever. So in forgiving myself of being angry, I really surrendered to the anger, and I just kind of sat on my bed and shut the door and just let it go. And as soon as I surrendered to the anger of being really hurt, the emotion, I was just really upset, and it all come out. And then afterwards, I just thought, right, what do I need in this? What do I actually need for me? Because I know everything's temporary with emotions. So as it comes in, it's like a wave. It comes in and then it goes out. But when you resist it, it just gets bigger and bigger.
Yes.
So when you, so I just laid on the couch and watched comedy TV and just chilled out, and then had a really beautiful conversation with him when he got back after his bike rides, and hugged it out, and it was done. And then I was up again, and then I was like more fulfilled, contented. So then I was just like ping back in the room. Had a nice early night though. Quite exhausting crying sometimes.
Yeah.
But that release of that surrendering to it, and it's just like, you don't have to stay angry. What's happened. This is all a learning process, and this emotion is totally temporary. So just surrender to that anger, because I really don't like it when anger comes in. It just isn't part of my true self, but it's essential. You're not gonna, if someone came up to you and wanted to harm you, you wouldn't go, oh great, yeah, crack on. You'd be defensive and probably a little bit annoyed and angry.
Yeah.
So these all emotions are important, essential. But in that moment, it was really, what do I need in this moment? Yeah, when I surrendered to it, it was it felt good. It felt really good.
So when you surrendered to the anger, you noticed you felt hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that changed straight away. It changed.
Yes. And did you see clearly after?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew my wisdom came in, and I was just like, when we talk about wisdom, some people think wisdom, like, it's that's what wise men have, or wise women when they're really old. They've been sitting in a cave for 10 years. But no, it's like wisdom is our inbuilt intelligence, and it's always got your back. And intuition, inner voice, whatever you want to call it, common sense. That's wisdom. That's what wisdom means to me. So when that comes in, you know what to do. We all have the answers for ourselves. So when it came in, I just knew to chill out, because I knew then by doing that, me and my son would have a wisdom conversation about it. So yeah, that's my thing this week.
So when you think about wisdom, I read somewhere, I think it was Wayne Dyer, that you have I think it was Wayne, right? You have an experience, and this experience could be like normally an uncomfortable experience, and then when you I don't like to use the word learn, but when you do
learn,
I mean, when you learn and you see what you're responsible for and what the other people's responsibility is in this, I think there's a bit of healing that goes on, and I think when that little bit of healing goes on, that goes into your wisdom.
Mm.
You know, when you see it clearly, because
Yeah.
and I think it was it Greg that said this? What you resist persists. What you look at
Mm.
disappears.
Mm. The other thing I learned from that man was pain is inevitable in life, but the suffering is optional. And it's
Yes.
just that I always remember that one. Pain
Yes.
is inevitable, suffering is optional, and it's so true. People, and when you have that realization, that insight of that, you are the freedom to know that it's not always going to be this way. I don't have
Yes.
to suffer. I can choose
Yes.
not to. There's another way. It's actually showing me that something I can do about it. Not there's nothing I can't do anything about it. It's something I can do, which was really helpful to me.
Yeah. So what I've similar thing I've heard, you know, someone again I've read somewhere, what happened in your past was never your, you know, what happened in your past was never your fault. You was an innocent bystander from someone else's pain. But it's your responsibility now to heal.
Mm. Yes.
That I
I
love
like
that.
that. I like that,
Yeah.
Hayley.
Yes.
Who is that person? I need to speak
Don't
to
know.
them.
I just, you know, but this is what, you know, what we're from what people have helped us, haven't they? You know, these
Yeah.
motivational, inspiring speakers or a friend, and that then goes into your wisdom because I haven't forgotten that. You know, that goes what you learn from others. You think, oh, that's touched something there, and you remember it. You just
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I always see that as your it's like you hear it at a soul level. It's like
yes,
when someone's speaking truth,
yes,
when someone speaks truth, you feel it. Always go by the feeling,
yes, you
not so
do.
much hanging off the language. When you hear truth, it's so soothing
Yes,
because you're connecting with that,
and that don't
and that's
happen straight
also
away.
surrendering. No, it doesn't happen straight away.
What did I
No.
used to do? Rather than surrender, what would I do?
Oh, resist the hell out of it.
And try and find a, and I would
Oh,
try and
let's
find
get
a
a solution.
solution.
My name's Hayley Plantum, and I need a solution for everything.
Because someone would
Oh,
try to
bless
talk
you.
someone would try to talk to me and I'd be like, oh yeah, try and work it out from the intellect, right? So how can I find a solution then? But
Yeah. Oh, guess what? They can find it for themselves.
yeah, so that was not surrendering. When I would try to find a solution to literally everything. When I, you know, I'd hear the truth, but I wouldn't just surrender to that truth. I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, carry on. I can think of a solution.
Oh, bless you, Hayley. Yeah, I remember those days.
But yeah, I love that surrender. But yeah, so it
Yeah.
can be confusing though. It can be scary at first when you begin to do it. And yeah, would you agree?
No, I totally agree. What comes into my mind is I really don't know where I read or heard this either, because no language is original, is it? But it's like when you that fear comes in, on the opposite side of fear is what you truly want.
Oh yes.
And yes, do you know what I mean? So it's taking that leap of faith in it. So surrendering can be really difficult, but it's only because our intellect makes it that way. Because we're doing that to ourselves. So in that surrender is just so beautiful because there's a vulnerability there, and vulnerability is a beautiful thing. Being the word vulnerability. Okay, it's because we're unprotected, or you have vulnerable adults in these times. At the moment, there's extremely vulnerable people with the pandemic and stuff. But even surrendering to that, look how we are protected. Look, look how the NHS, look at pharmacies getting their prescriptions to vulnerable people, food parcels and stuff, and it's just like that, and surrendering to that.
Oh yeah.
I'm speaking from personal experience because I'm a double transplant patient and I take immunosuppressants, so I've totally surrendered to the frustration of the perimeters I'm allowed to move in, like don't go out your front door. So so that surrender, I've surrendered to that in the last 8 weeks of not going out. I'm lucky I've got a garden. God, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, so surrendering to that has been actually really beautiful, because there has been a lot of frustration. I'm only human, do you know what I mean? And it's just and being vulnerable in that. You know, I used to irk if someone said vulnerability to me before. If someone said, "Oh, you're a vulnerable person," I'd be, "No, I am not."
Fists up, ready.
Excuse me, someone pass me boxing gloves. Where are they? But yeah, so yeah, it's all good stuff. Yeah, and that was scary. But surrendering to it is just such a relief. I just look at everything that I'm so grateful for. So that's
Yes.
also a part of surrendering, being really grateful, even for the experiences that aren't very nice.
Yes.
You know, because there's a lesson, because there's always a lot, you know, saying that word again, lesson. But I get excited now when I get a bit excited of you know, having a bit of a rough time of it, and then actually thinking, what am I going to see? What am I going to be more aware of? What my consciousness level is going to go up, because I'll be so much more aware, because I'll have a different understanding on something. So yeah.
And it's not just as, you know, so what I've noticed with surrendering, say I surrendered to okay, so when this pandemic started, first of all, of course, anxious, fighting it. Then I surrendered, and then, like you say, you start to notice actually we're protected. People standing outside the shops, you know, security guards helping you to help you social distance, you would say. And then then I fought it again. So surrender is not just an overnight thing. You know, then I fought it again. Fear kicked in. You'd hear, oh, there was a child that got it and died. You know, that feeling of that, you know, that intense feeling. And then again, you surrender again. So it ain't just an overnight thing with surrendering. You might need to surrender to something 10 times, if not more. But every time you do it, I think it gets more powerful.
Yeah, no, I think it does. I think because we all have different patterns. So sometimes you have to rerun a pattern to see something, and then rerun it again to see something different. And then slowly but surely you just realise that pattern or that programming has fallen away. You know, by surrendering, you see a lot about yourself.
You do, and you do. You see the situation clearly. You see yourself clearly, and actually, when you surrender, you see your part. You know, your part in things. It's not just about. You start to see another example. So Steve, my partner, he's gone back to work, and I had used to him at home, helping with the two, you know, with Josh and Megan. It was lovely. I was like, oh, you know, I'm really enjoying this. So when he went back to work, I was fighting it. No, I need him back here because I've got no time. I could hear myself. I was like, what are you doing? No, I've got no time. I've got no time. I kept on saying that, and I could really hear it. Like, I was like, what do you mean you've got no time? I couldn't see it then because I was fighting. And then when I decided, you know what, it's okay. It's okay that you're a bit fed up. It's okay that, you know, that you're not happy with Steve going back to work. And when I surrendered, I actually see how much time my kids had given.
Well, that's it. That's the power of language. As soon as we have that repetitive, I've had enough. I'm fed up. Oh my God, I've got no time. No, because you're wasting it by telling yourself you've got no time. Actually, you're running on the spot, like, you know, for like a long time.
Slow down, Hayley. This is what I've got to slow down. But
oh, bless you.
Yeah, so then I see actually how much time they did give me, and I was like, oh, then the gratitude comes in. See, gratitude can't be forced. I think, you know, it's a natural thing. I find it's a natural thing when you start to see your side in things and you know what you're responsible for and what others are. Did you feel that?
Yeah. My life's all right.
I have got time.
All right, Hayley. It's all right, darling. Anyway, what's the time?
Oh no, it's 11:45. It's lunchtime. But, yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. There's really we. Oh God, I temporarily just my words just fell out of my head and I can't remember what I was going to say. Anyway, I'm like this all the time, aren't I? So it's I just think when you become more self-aware, you become more comfortable feeling uncomfortable.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because when you surrender more, the uncomfortable feeling's not going to last as long because you have more realization of how emotions work, and by surrendering, then you're not fighting it, so you know it's going to pass.
And there's like there you go. It's Leanne just went off the screen for a minute. I don't know what she was doing.
So someone was just trying to phone me.
Oh.
And I was like,
did you swipe them up?
Yes. I was like, away with you. Politely.
But you did it gently. You swiped them up gently.
Yeah, darling, I'm not that graceful. I'd like to think I swiped them off the screen, but really I was like, yes, I'm having a few problems with my computer and setting up my iPad, so I'm on my phone. But I surrendered to it last night. I now have the answer of why I can't download anything. So, yes. So I thought, that's okay, I've got a phone. I'm just going to have to do it on that. Anyway, but what was you saying, Hayley, before someone rudely interrupted us?
What was I saying? It's
gone.
It's gone, so it obviously wasn't important.
Everything's important, Hayley, when it falls out of your mouth. I stand to attention.
What was I saying?
Talk to me, Hayley. Talk to me.
What was you saying?
Oh God. Being comfortably. When you're uncomfortable. Being comfortable with that. Being comfortable.
Oh, that was it. Yes.
Being uncomfortable. Yes. And when you surrender to that, whatever emotion it is of uncomfortability. Sorry.
Is that a word?
Yeah, I don't know. Uncomfortability. I don't know. It sounds all right for me today, though. Uncomfortable. Being comfortable with being uncomfortable is what I'm trying to say.
It's okay not to be okay. So yeah. So what I've found. So what you were saying touched. So it's you start to have this self-confidence in yourself. Actually, I don't need something else to make this go away. This feeling. I don't need someone else to make this feeling go away. You start to have this self-confidence where you trust yourself. You think, actually, well, I can do it. I've done it plenty of times, and first of all, I thought, and it's not that bad. It's not. It's not as scary as I thought. So So what I've learned from that, what you were saying about you have this, you learn. You start to see, you can do it. Should we say? I've noticed a confidence in myself, a trust in myself.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. So yes, it was important.
Yes, very important. You like that word, don't you, Hayley? Importance.
I love that word.
I know.
And
it reminds me of you.
Yeah.
I do. Every time someone says something important, I think, Hayley.
Nurture reminds me of you. Nurture. When someone says, I need... So when someone says, oh, I just need nurturing, I'm like, yeah.
Yes, well, I inspire the world to feel loved, nurtured and amazing. Just get my cape on.
Done it again.
Now I'm back. I swiped them gently off my screen. Right, so my love, what should we do? Should we round it off here?
Let's surrender.
Let's surrender into keeping it real.
You're keeping it real. I've got nothing else to add.
No, I'm full up.
But my teddy has. Got something to add.
Oh, I love it. So you can't get away with having the odd mishap, can you, on this thing?
I know. The Zoom calls I've done when I hear Josh screaming in the background, shut up!
Yeah. Yes, yeah. yeah, human beings. And when I'm on a Zoom call, doing a group, and then my son's really overexcited on Xbox, and it's just like, I feel like going do 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 do.
I'm gonna go into song.
As I'm frantically texting him, can you be quiet? I'm working. Oh, yeah, well, I think nothing to add then. Perfect.
I can't
So
keep my words back because I'm laughing.
if you're laughing, bloody marvellous. Food for the soul. Yeah, so we'll do another little podcast.
Yes.
Don't know when, but so what have people got to tune into? Oh no, they've already tuned into it because they're on here. I don't know what I'm talking about, do I?
I think yeah, no, we're gonna put it on YouTube. They're already on here.
I know, that's what I just said. Well, you fed into that, didn't you? Anyway, you know how to hear us if you're that interested.
Just press play.
Oh, darling, we're so new at this. Anyway, everybody who's listening,
It's our first one, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, have a fabulous day, week, and just surrender.
Yeah, just surrender. All right, Leanne.
All right, my love.
I don't know how to press.
See you soon.
Unrecord.
Love you, Hayley.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.